Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cryptoverse. Kind of stuttered a little bit there. My name is Chris Coney, I'm the host of the Cryptoverse, and today we're going to do 4 different things. We're going to look at the Bitcoin chart, the Ravencoin chart, and then 2 news stories. India's Supreme Court talking about crypto regulations due to come out tomorrow, and also a new social media app built on BitTorrent/Tron. So before we get into it, I apologize, I'm not in the best state of mind today, so if I'm anything less than enthusiastic, then I apologize for that, but I'll do my absolute best. Let's begin with the Bitcoin chart. So, daily chart on Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin against the dollar, 1-day chart, Coinbase. So, what have I put in the title? BTC at bearish reversal. So, I like to have the titles match the content exactly. So, you know, the other day I did that video on Bitcoin creeps out of the bear market. Well, this was the yellow downtrending bearish reversal line that I talked about. And I gave some predictions out as to how long it would take us to get to that line. Well, it took a lot less time than I thought, actually. You see now we're bumping up right against it, right? So this happened sooner than I thought, which is a bullish sign. And there were some people in the comments in that video that were still predicting like a sudden dump in the price, right? You know, like these big whipsaws that go up and down. If we look at the 1 hour, because I've got the triple, screen set up here where we have the 1-day chart and then the 6 hour and then the 1 hour. Back here, which was, what's this? 25th of March, around about 6 p.m. London time, there was a dump, bit of sideways drop, and then a move upwards. So maybe that was what they were talking about, but I think they were talking about a more significant dip than that. I'm just sharing with you what other members of the community said they expect to happen. So back to the daily chart, there are 3 stages of confidence, bullish confidence, shall we say. One of them is the crossing of this yellow line, which we're like right up against it, So even if we go sideways from here, up from here, we'll cross that. The other one is if we cross the high price from the previous 90 days, which is this pink horizontal line here. And that's at $4,235. So that would be nice. Also, if we can set a new high in this 90 days, that would be lovely. And then what else we got? The 200-day, well, this is an exponential moving average. So most people use simple moving averages. So yours might look slightly different to this. But this, if we could cross this, that would be pretty good. Because if you look back, like when was the last time we were above the 200 EMA? And not for a while, and even when we did, during the major fall in the price from 20k, even though we did pull back up above it temporarily, we then did fall back under it again. So that's number 3 bullish sign for me. And of course, eventually, when we get back to $6,000, that's going to be a significant level to hold above, since there was so much trading volume around that price over the last year. And that was the big break that we had back in November. So those are the milestones, let's call them. And so for now, let's keep an eye on the bearish reversal line and see what happens in the next few days. Just not to be a perma-bull, let's look at what could happen to the other side. The bearish case would be if we broke the pink trend line here, or if we broke the low price of the last 90 days. So that's what, $3,128. If we set a price below that, well, that would be the opposite scenario, where we would be looking at a significant fall. All right, so enough talking about Bitcoin. I'm just aware of the time here. Has anyone seen Ravencoin lately? Let's do Bitcoin on Binance, because this has got the most volume. So interesting this. If you remember Josh from Easy Crypto Hunter, I think I've got their website up here. This is Easy Crypto Hunter. You may remember I did a little series with Josh on GPU mining a while back, and he was big on Ravencoin. And it wasn't a well-timed series because we were in the midst of falling prices in the bear market, and people were saying, well, there's no point in buying these GPU mining rigs, mining altcoins at a loss and blah blah blah. You need cheap electricity and so on, which was a fair point. But I suppose the rationale is that if you mine coins when the market's down, you potentially get your return when those coins rise in a bull market, right? But it's a bit of a loss leader for a while, isn't it? Where you pay for the electricity and mine at a loss, but get the assets that you can sell later when it moons. Anyway, that call from Josh about Ravencoin seems now to be paying off. You see this? So it's like hitting all-time highs now. This has ended up being a good call from Josh. It wasn't me. I don't actually own any Ravencoin myself, but the reason I wanted to talk about this is what it illustrates is that even in the bear market, there is still some good money to be made in altcoins. The biggest challenge, of course, is picking the right one at the right time, but that's the whole investing game, isn't it? That's the whole game of why we do analysis and read the news and do everything that we do. So it's not an easy thing to do, right? Anyway, against Bitcoin, Raven is hitting all-time highs on Binance. Now, the only tool I can really think of that springs to mind to use here would be like a Fibonacci extension. So in TradingView, if you go to the tools, Fibonacci extension, or trend-based Fib extension they call it, if you join up the highs from this rally, oops, lost it. If you join up the high from the 9th or the 8th of March with today's high, and then go across, that could give us some idea as to where it might go. I mean, because we've got no data, historical data to go on as to where it might continue to move. So normal Fibonacci rules apply here with the different percentage levels where it could extend to before pulling back. And the other thing would be to do it based on the pullback. So from there to there and then there. That's another way of doing it. But normally, well, that one looks like when you draw it like that, from high to high, it's not perfect, is it? You need to do it from the high. Yeah, from high to high, and then measure the pullback, right? To see where it might extend to. Well, that's pretty good. It already extended to the 78.6 level based on this temporary pullback. Interesting, that, isn't it? Yeah, I just did that right there, so I don't have anything else more to say about that. But the simplest way to do a Fibonacci extension is just to connect the two highs up and then see where it might go from there. So that high from the 8th to today's high, and then go across here like that. So that might give us a map of where it could go, you know. Or we could wait for a pullback before getting in if you think Raven's going to continue rising. I'm going to talk about Ravencoin and what it does right now because that's for another day. Now allow me to share a couple of news stories with you that got my attention today. So first one is, this one's on BTC Manager. India's Supreme Court is supposed to present its crypto regulations tomorrow, which is the 29th of March. So what this is basically is that there's been a deadline imposed on the Supreme Court by the Indian government, and which expires tomorrow. So this article from BTC Manager, it says that the central bank, they banned Indian banks from dealing with crypto enterprises in April of 2018, which has kind of left the ecosystem in limbo. Now this matters because the Asian economies are continuing to progress and adopt crypto and so on, and it could leave India behind in terms of crypto adoption and development and so on. And India has a population of like 1.3 billion people, so that's a lot of crypto users. So India regulation and all that sort of stuff matters. So let's keep an eye out for the announcement tomorrow and see what's the, even if they do, see if they deliver a verdict first, which they should do because they've got a deadline, but that doesn't guarantee they're going to do it. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. The other news story that I picked out was this one from Cointelegraph. This is interesting. BitTorrent to release a peer-to-peer social media app called BitTorrent Live in the second quarter of 2019. Now, you might remember I was excited about BitTorrent integrating with blockchain technology, specifically the Tron network, because then the Tron Foundation purchased the BitTorrent company and the technology, so that's no surprise. When I talk about BitTorrent and so on, some of you are what I'll call less than enthusiastic about it. Some of you think that BitTorrent doesn't need a token and that can't benefit from blockchain technology, etc. I think it can, and I'm just watching how this plays out, right? Anyway, what we're looking at here is the release of a beta version of the social media app called BitTorrent Live in the second quarter of this year. So that's very interesting. But I mean, get this though. By contrast, the last paragraph here in the article, it says, in January, former strategy officer at BitTorrent, Simon Morris, so this is the, former, I didn't see that when I first read it, the former chief strategy officer at BitTorrent, Simon Morris, said that Tron will not be able to manage the transactional volume that's needed to tokenize BitTorrent. He said there's no way that the Tron blockchain could handle the transactional volume that the system will require or would require. And when I first read that, I thought it was the current strategy officer, and I thought, well, that's a bit bad, isn't it? If the currently serving chief strategy officer says that publicly, well, they're not in alignment, are they? But it's the former chief strategy officer that said that, which is very interesting. Very interesting. So that's an opinion from an ex-employee saying that Tron doesn't have the scale. I mean, Tron's scale transactional capacity is on par with, with EOS, right? So I don't think that would help building on EOS. I don't think it would help any more with it. I think they perform about the same, like 3,000 or 4,000 transactions a second. But that would be, I suppose that would be a good problem to have. You know what I mean? Some people criticize these faster blockchains by saying, well, we've got 4,000 transactions a second, but no one's using them, right? So what's the point? We don't need 4,000 transactions a second. But the other problem would be better, wouldn't it? Where Tron or EOS is absolutely maxed out to capacity, because that's like what happened with Ethereum. And when CryptoKitties overloaded the network, at least it made headlines, and it showed that the good thing was that it was getting adopted, right? So that would be a nice problem to have if it arose. So again, coming this quarter, potentially this BitTorrent Live streaming application with BitTorrent and so on. So good news for Tron holders. Some people in the chat are saying if you're smart, buy Tron. I'm sure they're a Tron holder. I don't actually have any Tron. I'm more of an EOS fan. But anyway, I think that's all I've got for you for today. I've got lots more to share with you as ever, but I want to keep the videos short. I know that the longer the videos, the less likely people are to watch them. So working on a video also by request from a viewer. The video is going to be about how to change your EOS owner and active keys so that they're different. Someone asked me to talk about that. So I'm almost done making like the slides for that and so on. So look out for that video if you're interested in that kind of thing. You want to update your EOS security. Please check out the website, thecryptoverse.show. I would really appreciate some more support from the audience in terms of becoming patrons and so on. There's bonuses for being a patron other than just getting rid of the adverts. There are cryptocurrency rewards available and, chat access and things like that. I am really on a mission to become fully audience supported so that I don't even have to think about it anymore. Sponsored videos and all, I don't have to worry about it. So if you can find it within yourself to become a patron, I would very, very much appreciate it. But that is all I've got for you today. I'll be back with the next episode of the Cryptoverse. Until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.